All right. We are back for Roundtable Dolphins episode number 22. I am once again joined by Billy Melissa. Buddy is not with us today. I am back after a 2 week vacation. I had to catch up on Dolphins news. I had to remember what it is that I do for work, what it is I do for the podcast, and all those good things. But I will say this, I want to start every podcast off now, doing a little like promotion here. So if you guys like what you hear, please do us a favor, like and comment, do all the social media things, subscribe to the channel. Go to the Roundtable Dolphins site, which will be in the description of this video. Join it. An account is completely free. It's like a website and Reddit and Twitter all in one. You can comment on articles. You can like articles. Same thing with community posts, which is like our built-in Twitter, if you will. I am also on Twitter. You can follow me at James_Brizuela. Do all the things, please. Join us. We talk Dolphins football every week, as opposed to the past 2 weeks. I was on a much needed vacation. But other than that, we've been together every week, and this is episode number 22. So we're going to jump right into it here with the top of the hour, which is basically all about OTAs and minicamp camp and Malik Willis. So, I wrote this wrong, but I'll just say this. The offense has been struggling. That was going to be the case. Everybody understood that. The offense is being rebuilt in a significant way. While there are some veterans that are coming back, like obviously Devon Achane, most of the offensive line, minus Caden Proctor, will be starters from the previous year. But there is a new gaggle of wide receivers that are, let's just put it the way it is, unproven veterans. That's what they are. That's what we already knew. Some of them have had success, such as Tutu Atwell and Jalen Tolbert. But for the majority of the rest of the unit, they're just not wide receivers that have done anything at that significant in the league. So naturally, when you have a new quarterback coming in, new system that he doesn't know, there's going to be some struggles. They had a OTA practice where there was 3 interceptions, one of which was committed by Malik Willis. And Bobby Slowick, the offensive coordinator, spoke just yesterday about the chemistry issues at hand, and he said they are a work in progress. So obviously, this is a little too early to be pressing the panic button, but it does also point to a bigger problem that we've discussed on this podcast before. That's going to be kind of the theme of the offense, I think, moving forward, is how fast they kind of gel together and how Malik Willis can kind of, I don't know, put this unit together to the best of his abilities.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to give him grace. It's a whole new setup there. It's his first time as a starter. Like, maybe I'm ridiculous as I don't place too much weight in training camp. They're just coming off the season. They're not going to be doing anything crazy. They're not putting their bodies on the line. It's not worth it this early in the season. It's no pads, no, like, that not really what it is like in a game situation. And like you said, this is exactly what was expected, right? Even if or I've been saying that I feel like they're placing a lot of stock and focus on the offense right now as opposed to building around the defense, and they're kind of just trying to solidify what they're doing on offense. This gives them a lot of time. There's plenty of time to experiment, grow, learn, find their feet. And I think Malik will get there. It's probably just going to take a while for them to all click. That's basically a whole new room, like you said, apart from Achan and a couple of others. So it will take some time. I don't think there's any need to panic just yet.
No, yeah, and for anybody panicking or anybody saying that Malik Willis isn't going to be the guy right now, it's foolish. We
It's
don't
too
know.
early.
It's way too early. Obviously, if these issues continue to happen through training camp and into preseason, then you have a significant problem because obviously they're not where they're supposed to be. But again, like you just said, this is a brand new system for Malik Willis. He was with Green Bay, but he was not with Bobby Slowick. So this goes into the next point, which I have a pretty significant opinion on. This is something that I've been praising. Well, we've been praising Jeff Hafley for and John Eric Sullivan for multiple weeks, since the months at this point since they came on, is that they continue to preach about competition. They continue to preach about bringing in people and seeing who's the best of the best to get whatever position it is. If they really stay true to their word, could be a situation where Malik Willis and Quinn Ewers are going to be having a significant battle to become the starting quarterback in 2026. I say that knowing how ridiculous it sounds because they just gave all that money to Malik Willis. But from the word around the water cooler of training camp and OTAs and minicamp, excuse me, training camp is not upon us just yet. Quinn Ewers looks better, but that is to be expected because he is carried over from last year. He already worked with Bobby Slowick, who was the pass game coordinator, who got promoted to becoming the offensive coordinator, has a very similar system to what Mike McDaniel ran. So naturally, you already have a year under your belt, which he did. He had a full training camp, all that good stuff. Even regardless of him only starting 3 games, you still see that system way more than Malik Willis has up to this point. But that being said, I firmly believe that they should definitely have a quarterback competition. If what they are preaching is really going to be true here. And I'm not saying that I believe that Quinn Ewers is better than Malik Willis. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is if he's really that far ahead and you're really staying true to your word as a team and building this thing the right way, that is how you make Malik Willis get better. You allow Quinn Ewers some time with the ones and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I've been saying it over and over again. I think this competition thing with the quarterback situation is just nonsense. I think it's just talking up the wall and just saying a bunch of random stuff. But for me, it's not entirely surprising that Ewers is more settled. He's not moved across the country. He's not settled into a new organization. He's not got the pressure on his shoulders. He's not been paid the way that Malik Willis has been paid. It's completely understandable that Malik Willis is coming into this situation, maybe a little bit shaky, maybe a little bit antsy, trying to find his feet, trying to get the guys on his side. There's a lot that he has to do. He has to create an environment. If he wants to step in and be the leader, I don't know if that's what he intends to do, but if that's is what he intends to do, like there's so much more that he needs to be doing than what Quinn Ewers is doing. And like I said before, training camp is what it is. You're just setting things up for the season. You're learning. You're finding your feet. Like you said, I think it is completely fair to want to maybe switch in and out, play it just in case, which you should do anyway, because like if Malik Willis gets injured week 1, 2, 3, like Ewers is the next guy up. That's the guy that you have to, unless you're going out and pulling a Philip Rivers out of retirement or whatever, like then that's the guy, that's your guy, isn't it? So completely understandable that, he's going to be stepping up and trying things, but everyone chill. Give Malik Willis some time.
I again, I agree. I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, and I'm playing both sides. But like truly though, so Jeff Halfley did comment on that, and he said he wants Quinn Ewers to be the best version of himself, possibly as he possibly can, as he should, right? But at the same time, there's a little bit of a hidden meaning in that, in what Jeff Halfley was saying about Quinn Ewers being able to capitalize on the moment and being able to get himself ready is exactly what you just said. If Quinn Ewers goes down, you are the next guy up. So you have to be prepared for that. But there's another situation that could happen here. If Malik Willis plays terribly, you're going to get called up because at this point, what do the Dolphins have to lose? You already have low expectations. You have a mismatched wide receiver room that's built of nobodies. No offense, not nobodies. Just you know what I'm saying about that.
To prove themselves.
Yet to prove themselves, veterans that have truly emerged as wide receiver 1 options. I'll say that. I'll take back what I said. I don't mean to be mean because these guys are world-class athletes and I'm just a guy talking on podcasts. Anyway, the point being, if he plays terribly, you are going to get called into action sooner rather than later. And that's what the Dolphins need to do. They need to not do what they did with Tua Tagovailoa and wait until the 11th hour to put him in, to put Quinn Ewers in. Like I said, the expectations are very low. You're already going into a season where you're expected to have a top 5 draft pick. And I'm not saying the Dolphins are not going to tank. I don't believe they're going to tank. I don't believe they're going to try to win games because they're a tough team regardless of what everybody says or how they're viewed.
And a lot to prove.
They have a lot to prove, and Jeff Halfley demands that respect and demands that kind of level of effort, and he's proven that thus far. But that being said, I think that message to Quinn Ewers is like, look, man, like there is a situation here where you can get called into action, so you better be ready. And he already has a leg up on Malik Willis because, like I just said, he's already in the system. He knows Bobby Slowick. He has the confidence, like you said, because he doesn't have the pressure on him. And I think that's an important aspect of why he is ahead, is because he doesn't have that pressure. He knows, or should know, that pretty much he's the backup quarterback. And unless he just plays out of his mind in training camp and in preseason, and the Dolphins have no choice but to put him in over Malik Willis. But then at that point, like you said, it's ridiculous to give him that kind of money and then not give him a chance either. To just go, oh, just kidding. We gave you that 3-year, whatever, 60, whatever million was. Sorry, you're sitting on the bench. So
yeah, Malik Willis was their biggest investment this offseason. That's the most money they spent.
He's the only one. Well,
Hey,
have you want? I
with what
mean,
they have.
yeah, Devon Achan. Yes, I'm not talking about extensions, but investments,
But
free
bringing in a
agents.
new person into the building, like he's their biggest investment this offseason. They threw all the chips behind him and was like, this is the guy that we believe in because, that was a bold move, paying him that much and bringing him over and saying that. So they're going to do all they can to push the most out of him. It makes them look good if it works out for him. But also, I'll lightly push back on you saying, they're wanting to win games. Why? Next year, they could have a really great draft position. Why not just if it's not working out, it's not working. I said this ages ago back in the podcast before Malik Willis was on the team. If it does, he's such a low risk option for them that if they don't do well, then fine. Next year they have great draft position and they can bring in some of that 2027 class. So I guess we'll see how they play it. I imagine they'll alternate between the two, but I don't think they'll fully expect you as to kind of turn the season around. And I don't think that's the situation they're going to put themselves in.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's going to be the break the glass in case of emergency quarterback for sure. Which again, the first and foremost thing to happen is an injury. If Malik Willis goes down, Quinn Ewers goes in. Everybody knows that. But
Hmm.
again, if there's a situation where Malik Willis is not playing up to par, they will bench him because why wouldn't they? You got a guy that you already knew coming in, only has 6 NFL starts, that has had a rocky NFL career thus far. And yeah, even regardless of you spending all that money in the hopes that he takes that next step, if he doesn't take that next step, exactly like you said, 2027 is around the corner. And then you're going to go and look at a Arch Manning or a Dante Moore or whoever the case may be. So, like I said before, even though it's a 3-year deal, to me, it's a 2-year deal. The third year is like if you want to get out of it. But if he can't step up and play well, if he can't step and figure out this offense and get it to operate really well, then there's really no point. There's really no point. It doesn't matter what the money they gave him. They're gonna sit him and they're gonna put Ewers in until they find a better option.
But have they given him the tools he needs?
I yes. Again, a good point to make. I don't think they have, but at the same time, like they still have a team that should be competitive. Devon Achan is your ace in the hole. Like that guy can not only run the ball like crazy, but he can catch. So
Hmm.
you got that, and through training, or I keep calling it training camp, through OTAs and mini camp, Willis is already establishing really good rapport with the tight ends, which is great. Ben Sims, he had a really like a 40-yard, I think it was a 40-yard touchdown. And then with Greg Dulcich, they're already like right there, which is good because when you're a young quarterback, as I kick my light off. When you're a young quarterback, I'll get that later. When you're a young quarterback, one of the main things that you focus on is building a rapport with your tight ends because
Yeah.
that is your safety blanket. Because tight ends are usually the dink and dunk throws over the middle. You can get it out to them. They can hopefully turn their legs for a few more yards, and then you're good to go. So it's understandable that he's already building that chemistry with the tight ends, but he needs to take that step and build that chemistry with his wide receivers. There needs to be at least one of these guys that has to step up and be the guy for him. Hopefully, it's not going to be just one because then that offense is going to be one dimensional. But it has to be somebody that's going to step up. I'm going to fix the light right now. Don't mind me. Ow! As I hit my head.
Oh no,
I know. See,
it's
I'm
all
all
good. Tech situations
that
going on.
situation. All right, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. All right. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, and so far, a little side thing. Tutu Atwell has been the guy in minicamp thus far that is been impressing. His work ethic and everything that he's been doing has been turning heads, and as it should. He's still a veteran, regardless of like his production being up and down with the Rams previously. Tutu Atwell could be that guy, and he also has that opportunity to emerge as a wide receiver one for the
Yeah.
first time in his career because he's been on the Rams who have been stacked with wide receivers for multiple years. But now you're coming on a team that has a completely unproven wide receiver core, and now
Yeah.
you have the opportunity to be that guy to not only show what you can really do in this league, but also show that you can be given a long-term deal after the fact.
There's no one outshining him now. They're both gone.
Nobody,
So it's
not
completely his. It
not one
might
person.
it might enter a new era for him. He might see this as a complete opportunity to fully take over and, like you said, shine in the way that he's been wanting to. But when you've got all of those people ahead of you, sometimes you just are needed to be the what you're needed for. And if you're a real team player, you're not messing around trying to burst through, try and do something crazy. So this could just be his opportunity. And obviously they've brought in a new guy, which is our my invite to you to segue to
No, that's fine. I was going to segue anyway. That's a good segue. Yeah, they did bring in
I
a
was
new
helping
guy.
you out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so this kind of ties into the unproven veteran wide receiver room, the problem that we've been talking about for multiple weeks on end now here. And this is twofold for me. So the Dolphins brought in Jalen Reagor, who is a former first round pick, who was initially drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. Funny enough, one spot ahead of Justin Jefferson, and we know how that worked out. So Jalen Reagor, Jeff Hoffley was like he was a first round pick for a reason. They apparently had a workout with a bunch of players, and he was one of the only ones that stood out, leading to his contract with the Dolphins. Now, that being said, he's very similar to Tutu Atwell, where it's like he's had some kind of successes, but not really a whole lot. He's at 1,037 yards and 4 touchdowns through 5 seasons in the NFL. So very small utilized wide receiver, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to be somebody. That doesn't mean that he can't emerge as a pass catcher that the Dolphins need. Any one of these guys at this point could be that person because we don't know. Any one of them can step up. I will say that's the benefit of it, but the negative to me is I think the Dolphins see the writing on the wall that this is a problem, that the wide receiver room is a problem already. So they're doing their due diligence a little early and they're bringing in more players because they want to see what else is out there, which again, I think that's a big problem. I think what we're seeing right now is that manifesting itself into already picking up free agents. I don't think that they're going to stop. And most teams do this anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. But right now, the current state of the Dolphins, bringing in more wide receivers does present itself as a pretty big deal.
I mean, it's what they need, and it's what they haven't really necessarily addressed through the draft. And it is a gaping hole. And if you want it, and you can't just rely on the run game because at some point people are going to figure you out. And I mean, sometimes they don't, and you manage to just like survive on it through the season that way. But like, especially when you're against teams like the Bills and the Patriots 2 times a year, like those are people that you really gonna rely on some receivers. So, I mean, it's nice to see him come in, get another chance. I don't think he's had the sample pool to show what he's really capable of in recent years. But that first round pick thing, like the accolade doesn't really mean anything if your talent isn't nurtured when you get there. And Philadelphia has kind of always had those star receivers, and his other teams like the Vikings, Patriots, Chargers, like they've had their guys. He's not been on a team where they've not had their guy. I mean, maybe not the Patriots. No, I guess when he was there, 23, 24, they were. That's not his fault. There was a lot going on in New England in that side.
They didn't have any receivers then, so that would have been the
They didn't
time
have
to jump
anyone.
out. Yeah, they didn't have anybody, so that would have been the time to jump out. But no, I agree with you.
Yeah, so I mean, coming over here and the same with Tutu Atwell is like he's 27 years old. He's been around the league. He knows what it takes, and he's played in the East. He's familiar with that game. He knows what it feels like, so he should know what that is. And coming into it, this is his perfect opportunity to shine, and hopefully Hafley and Slowick can get the best out of him, and he can just become a real asset on the offense. But I think it is something that more than anything, they need a leader in that room. They can't be walking in blind, and maybe no one feels bold enough to take that step just yet. Maybe no one wants to put themselves forward, and I hope that someone does, because sometimes that is just all that you need. It's just a guy that's like, right, no, we got this. We're going to do these kind of training exercises together. We're going to, and Malik Willis, it relies on him too to be doing those off-season workouts with these guys and then seeing who he can build this chemistry with. It's going to be as much his job as it is theirs.
No, definitely. I will say they did address the wide receiver in the draft with Caleb Douglas and Chris Bell, but Chris Bell torn ACL, still recovering. Not sure if he's going to be ready to go week one. And then Caleb Douglas.
Yeah, but not in the way that they thought with the first round situation.
No. Yeah, no, definitely not. And Caleb Douglas actually got hurt in minicamp, so not great. But Jeff Hafley did say he tweaked something and it's not long term. He should be fine. So that being said, yeah, you're right. It all comes down to this is the perfect opportunity for everybody across the board. This is a perfect opportunity for Malik Willis to show he can be a leader with little to nothing to work with. No offense again to any players. You get what I'm saying. And then also, this is also an opportunity for any one of those receivers to jump up and be that guy. You wanted the opportunity to be that guy in the NFL your entire career. It's right now. It is right now on a team that has no identity offensively, that has no identity, that's going to try to come out and try to win games with an offense that everybody's like, we don't really know what's going on. So that being
No
said,
expectations either.
no expectations. Yeah, like obviously, John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Halfley looked at the tape, looked at these players, were like, "These are the guys that we want to bring in." They Jeff Halfley spoke very highly of Tutu Atwell. Naturally, he's like he's a veteran. He's been here before. He knows what it takes, exactly like you just said, and he does. He was on the Rams. He whatever he learned from whatever team or whatever. This is for everybody too, like Jalen Tolbert and the whole entire cast of wide receivers. Whatever you learn, now is your time to implement that, especially if you were benched or you were replaced or whatever. You're playing with a chip on your shoulder. Okay, show us what that means to you. Show us what you can do on a team that is really looking for a star receiver.
Amen.
There you go. In better news, speaking of rookies and Caleb Douglas and Chris Bell and all that good stuff, the Dolphins have signed all 13 draft picks. They are finally done. The last two were, I believe, Caleb Douglas and tight end Seydou Traore. I think I'm saying his name right. I could be butchering that. Sorry if I am. But those are the last two holdouts, not holdouts, but the last two to be signed. They were signed just yesterday evening. So now the Dolphins are completely done signing their draft class. Took a little bit longer than I expected it to take. Caden Proctor was also one of the ones that was waiting on his contract to be done, but it got done. And then the other two were shortly after that. But it's good news because obviously you want to get that out of the way if you're a team. You don't want to be hanging on to whatever rookies that want whatever in their contracts, and it becomes a situation like, oh my God, what's his name? Marvin Harrison Jr., who like didn't get signed because of his Fanatics deal, and it became a whole mess of things. I think he signed his deal like well into training camp. That's neither here nor there. But the point being, you don't want that hanging over your head is what I'm saying. But it does lead to a question. Now that their draft picks are completely signed, now that they're whatever, I don't even know what their cap space is. I wonder if this is going to lead to them bringing in even more free agents.
Yeah, I mean, now is the time. It gives them the space to peruse their options and see what they're working with. It's easier now to proceed when you can kind of see what your financial year looks like. But I don't know. I don't really see the Dolphins making this kind of, because of what you said in the past about like that being so common and it never working out in the way that they hoped it would. I don't know if they want to repeat the same, regardless of whether it's a whole new era. I don't know. I can't see them taking any big swings, personally.
I'm not big swings. I'm just talking about those little low cost free
Even
agents
just
for sure.
anyone, yeah. But I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe some guys I'll pick up, but I think that they're gonna wait and see what they got in training camp a little bit longer when we get to that part.
So, because of the money that came off the books with Bradley Chubb release, and I believe Tua's release, I can't remember who. I know it was Bradley Chubb for sure because he was a post June 1, and then there was somebody else I can't think of right now. Let me know in the comments. I don't know. I can't think of it. But the Dolphins have 14 million in available cap space right now. It's pretty good. So,
Good.
if they run into a situation where again they're going through training camp and none of these guys are what they need them to be, could be a situation where they go looking for some free agent pass catchers.
Couple 1-2 year deals, why not? There's
I
gonna
mean,
be guys. I mean, there are guys that are around. There are guys who probably are a bit too expensive for them right now. And I know that we're gonna get to talking about him, but he's there waiting in the
who,
shadows, maybe.
who,
Tyreek
who?
Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill for sure. Before we get into that, let's just see who's available.
Think
Let's see.
Stephon Diggs is still kicking around.
Stephon Diggs is available. Taylor Decker is available. Marshawn Lattimore is available. Who else we got? No, wait. Sorry, I was just saying players.
Just any old guy.
Just any old guys.
Retired guys? Want to come
No,
out?
I was saying other positions like a dummy. So Stephon Diggs, Debo Samuel still available. Curtis Samuel is
David
still available.
Samuels.
D Hop is available. Keenan Allen.
D-Hop is a great shout. If the Ravens aren't going to sign that guy, he's clutch.
I mean,
He's fully, and he's a personality, and he's a great guy that I think can step into that leader position. That would be a
that
great
yeah,
pickup for
I
them.
would be fine with him coming in on a 1 year deal. Even Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is solid.
Mhm.
Brandon Cooks is there. Dwayne Eskridge is there. There's a lot. Sky Moore, Sterling Shepard, Hunter Renfro. There's actually Gabriel Davis. There's quite a few guys.
There's a few guys.
There's
Gabriel Davis, that's a great idea.
it,
Knock down Gabe's. Are we on the phone?
yeah. I mean,
Halfley, can we call up, please?
I'll say this: if they start bringing in more guys like this, then you definitely know there's a problem with the wide
Yeah.
receiver component, and they're not going to know that, like you said. It's too early We're not going to know that until training camp at least. If you're going to
Yeah.
training camp and nobody can develop that chemistry with Malik Willis, you're going to be forced to bring people in, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Maybe,
there are great options to do that. So I don't. But I do feel that it's way too early right now, like you said. But I do think it should be something that they're seriously considering because just having that veteran presence in the room, even if you feel like you've already got it, or maybe they're waiting for them to emerge as leaders before, or seeing what they can kind of do on their own before they go searching at wider fields.
yeah, definitely. And again, like you brought up previously, if you really want to give Malik Willis a chance to really be what he can possibly be, you have to give him somebody that's near wide receiver one territory. So I think you're doing a disservice if you keep who you got and none of them are stepping up. And at that point, you have to go out there and get somebody, one player.
Yeah,
Just get one player and let
one
them come
guy.
in and kind of turn things around or be that guy that's going to be wide receiver one. But let's go back to our buddy Tyreek Hill. Obviously, we talked about this before. Tyreek Hill was at the Dolphins training facility, still recovering from his torn ACL and whatever else, dislocated knee. He had a really bad injury. Um,
That was not
obviously,
nice.
yeah, obviously because of his age, I think it's gonna be taking him a lot longer to heal. There was already rumblings and stories that he may not be back in 2026, and I think that's gonna be the case. I think he's probably gonna take the season off to fully heal and come back. And he seems to have indicated as such to Drew Rosenhaus, who is his agent, who said that Tyreek Hill is going to come fully back, but that 2026 may not be the year he does that. Oddly enough, this guy is side quest crazy. He's a DJ now in Miami, so he's living it up, DJing it, at clubs or whatever. Good for him.
Why not?
Why not? You've already
Gonna be
been.
retiring soon, so
I know you've already been a superstar in the NFL for X amount of years. Why not go and chase something else and be great at it? Um, excuse me, I have to cough a little bit here. Sorry. But yeah, so he expects to fully come back in 2027. If that is the case, who's to say he might not want to come back to the Dolphins?
Yeah, I mean, it's odd seeing him ride out free agency, and that would kind of suggest the only reason because it's hard to believe there aren't teams interested in what he has to offer, injury prone or not. And we've seen teams take worse bets than Tyreek Hill. So I think that that is probably likely the situation. And hey, he could just see how he obviously has a good relationship with the organization still. So it wouldn't be crazy for him to come back. I think he's probably just going to feel out what's best for him and maybe see how the team goes. Because I think has he been around the organization since? Because I know that we spoke about it before, but after that, I don't know if he's been back.
Yeah, he's been in the building. And like I said, I don't know whether or not that's just because they're taking care of
He's
his.
packing up his locker.
Yeah, I don't know if that's because he's getting looked at by the doctors or whatever, but he does
Yeah.
have a good relationship with the organization, even regardless of him being released by the team. There's no hard feelings. He's spoken how much he loves the Dolphins and loves the organization. Obviously, he loved Tua very much. Tua's with another team, so we'll see if that plays a factor or whatever. But I could see a situation where maybe the Dolphins are a lot more competitive than people expect them to be in
Yeah.
2026. Maybe Malik Willis is that guy. And if that's the case, 2027 rolls around. Yeah, the Dolphins don't want to get younger. They want to build. They have those young guys that are there. But if they're really looking, plus having the third highest predicted cap space, they're looking for a proven veteran. Why not Tyreek Hill? Yeah, he's got a year off, but he's fully healed. He's still Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. No, I think it's definitely going to be something that they're offering next year. Whether he'll take it, whether he'll get a better offer elsewhere, that seems a little bit more likely for a Super Bowl run, and that's how he's going to go out. But I don't see why not, if he doesn't get a better offer elsewhere. But he also might just feel the loyalty and want to come back.
And
Some guys
and
do.
Yeah, and he's spoken about that. He's regardless of all the off-field drama, regardless of everything that's happened to Tyreek Hill over these past 4 or 5 years, however long it's been, he's really loyal and he's been very adamant that he loves the Dolphins organization. He wanted to remain here. Obviously, they had to release him as a business decision. It's something that he presumably did not take to heart or personally. He's been in the building. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Tyreek Hill 2027. Watch
I would
this
I would love for
space.
him to come back because then that means everybody that bought a Tyreek Hill jersey will not have wasted their money. And I'm not naming names, but I'm just saying People who have Tyreek Hill jerseys will not have wasted their
Hey, it's
money.
the memory, it's history.
I'm just throwing that out there for the people, fans who have Tyreek Hill jerseys will have not wasted their money.
If you're in
Anyway,
line for a Tyreek Hill jersey, stay in line. He's
stay in
coming back.
line. If you have a Dolphins Tyreek Hill jersey, he could come back and it could be
He
one.
could come back.
Look, man, just wear whatever. All right, Tyreek Hill was amazing on the Dolphins. We're not gonna
Yeah.
he set 1,700 personal record yards while with the Dolphins, and Tua Tagovailoa, who we know is not Josh Allen. So I'll just say that. Anyway, um, thank you for listening, and Tyreek Hill fans, keep your Dolphins jersey just in case. But thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Dolphins Roundtable Dolphins episode number 22. I believe I said it was. It is.
Yep.
We will be back next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. And again, if you can do us all a big favor, go like, subscribe, share the video on YouTube, and then go to Instagram. Follow me there. I'm going to be cutting things up a lot better. I just need a vacation because I'm doing a whole lot. But I'm on TikTok, James Brizuela Sports, as well as on Instagram. I will be clipping these things, throwing them out there, doing all the things. And also in the link in the description of this video, you can join the official Roundtable Dolphins site. Please do so. It's free to do so. I'm always writing news on there, and these YouTube podcasts are on there. Thank you.